Hello everyone and welcome to 12 Paw Designs. Again, I'm Lori Radis, and this week we're going to do a little sublimation. So what we're going to need is, of course, our heat press. I'm actually going to sublimate onto a mat that I bought from Home Depot. I'm going to need a piece of parchment paper, a lint roller, and of course the free design that we have for this week. And I'm offering you guys the Happy Fall with the pumpkins and the pattern pieces. And then you'll need some heat transfer tape just to make sure we can stick it to the mat and we don't get any ghosting with it. And then I'm also going to share with you doing this also on a shirt and some information on that. So first things first, I have the heat press heating up to 400 degrees because when you're pressing with sublimation, you want to do 400 degrees for 60 seconds. So I have the heat press heating up while I'm doing that. Next, I'm going to take the lint roller and I'm going to clean off the surface of the mat as best I can, because all the little particles will show up if you don't do that. So I'm going to lint roll off to make sure I have everything. And then I'm going to center the design on the mat. Okay, and then once I have it centered, I'm going to take my heat transfer tape and I'm going to attach it to the mat to make sure that everything stays in place. Now I have a 15 by 15 heat press and this mat is bigger than that, so I'm going to have to do 2 presses on it. So that's why I'm going to use the tape, and I'm going to tape it down really good because I don't want the image moving on me. Okay, so I'm going to get that going and tape everything down. And we'll speed that up while I'm taping. While I'm finishing taping, just a couple of things on sublimation. In order to do sublimation, you need a printer that is capable of doing sublimation. I actually took an Epson Workforce 7720 and I converted it into a sublimation printer. And you can buy sublimation ink on Amazon, Etsy, you name it, and you just convert your printer over. And there's tons of directions on how to convert over printers. There's the Echo Tank, Epson Echo Tanks. You can actually buy a Sawgrass that is already a sublimation printer. There's all kinds of choices out on the market, and it really comes down to what price point do you want to go with and how often do you plan on doing sublimation. So I purchased mine probably 2 years ago, a good year and a half ago, and I do sublimation here and there, but not a whole lot of it because I'm doing other things like transfers and things like that. But I love having that option of doing an image and that type of stuff. But part of the thing is some of the mediums that you can do sublimation on they're limiting, or you have to look at certain quality and stuff like that. Now this mat, in order to sublimate, you want a higher polyester count in your substrate. Okay, and this mat is polyester, so this makes it a perfect substrate to do sublimation. Okay, and again, you want to do your temperature at 400 degrees for 60 seconds. Now, once that's done, I will actually move the mat over to the other side, and what you'll notice is I'm kind of moving things around a little bit because I actually have the mat hoisted up so that it's resting, so that my transfer isn't moving on me while I'm doing the sublimation. And again, it's in here for 60 seconds. And once it's done, I'm going to lift it up, and I'm going to be very careful. Now, most just want to peek at it and look at it. You can actually see on the paper the image coming through because it's transferring over, and that's why the parchment paper is there so it doesn't transfer over. And I'm going to press again, and I'm going to do the other side for 60 seconds. Okay? Now, when I get over to the shirt, the higher the polyester count, the better the quality and the longer the image will stay. Now, the shirt is a 60-40, and there's Bella Canva, there's Gildan. I love the Gildan soft. You'll see me a lot of times doing bleaching to bleach out so that it's more of the white underneath it, so I can do sublimation on it. Okay, and so then it makes it more of an affordable item to do it. But the lower the polyester count, the more faded or gives you that vintage look. And the higher the polyester count is more of that brighter. But you can adjust some of those brightness in your tones in your prints when you're doing sublimation. Now I'm using a sub-paper sublimation paper, and there's 105s, there's 120, and there's 125. And I find that the 105 is a little bit better because of the amount of ink that it holds. And you also want to be careful, like like on mine, I do normal with white presentation paper, and part of that is I don't do quality because otherwise it's going to lay too much ink down on the paper, and then that ink is literally going to almost get wasted because it might not be enough to do another print, but it was way too much ink. So in this particular case, it ended up being just the perfect amount, and it was exactly what I was looking for. Okay, so now I'm going to take my shirt, and I already put the lint roller on it while I was waiting, and I'm going to go ahead and fold it in half, find my center point, and I'm actually going to do sublimation on this as well. So just a quick, I had to adjust my pressure because I had it set really high for the mat to get the mat in. So, but again, you want to make sure that you have something that has a decent polyester. Now, I'm not going to do bleaching on this shirt because it's a lighter color, and if you're looking for shirts that have a higher polyester, it's usually the heathers, okay? Because they're a mix of cotton and poly to make that heather look. So I'm going to take my transfer. Well, first I need to put something between my shirts. I'm actually going to take my parchment paper, and you can use butcher paper, either one works, and I'm going to put it between the shirts, because if you don't put it between the shirt layers, you will actually, sometimes depending on how much ink is in that transfer, it's going to transfer right through the back of the shirt. So that's why I always want to put something between it so that ink stays where it's supposed to stay. Okay, and so then once I have that laid up, then I'm going to lay down my image. I just did a quick fold on that as well to find out where my center point was, and then I'm just going to attach it on with the heat transfer tape. And the reason why I just put a couple pieces down is I don't want it to move, because it is paper, and what does paper do? Paper tends to travel. So I'm just going to give it a quick fold, tape it down in 2 spots just to make sure, and then I'm going to put a piece of parchment paper over the top. And some people will put typing paper, some people will put typing paper and then a piece of parchment or butcher over the top. It really doesn't matter. You just want to make sure that you have something there that helps absorb that ink, so that it's not going on to your platen, or in this case I have a Teflon sheet, and then possibly when you press again, it goes on to the next piece. So you want to be careful of that. And again, that's why you actually put a piece between your layers as well to make sure that you're good. And again, it's 400 degrees for 60 seconds, and then you're good to go. This image was a little bit pinker than I wanted to, and so I'll have to check my yellows just to make sure that I'm actually have some good colors in there, or possibly do a nozzle check. So, and again, I didn't really go through the whole sublimation and the print process because everybody's printer is different, everybody has different settings, and it really needs to be done just like with your cutting machine. Some people have Cricut, some people have Silhouette, some Cricut owners find this setting works, some Silhouette owners find this setting works. If you have questions, reach out into our Crafty Paws group. More than happy to help and try and answer any questions I can. But in this video, I'm not going to answer any specifics on the printer. If you have specifics on a printer, just reach out into the group and we will try and answer those questions for you. Again, thanks for joining in to 12 Paw Designs. Again, this is Lori Radis, and please, there will be a link in the YouTube video, and there's a link in the blog post about joining our Crafty Paws group. We're more than happy to help you. Crafty Paws is about all different types of crafters. You don't have to be a cutting machine crafter. You don't have to be a sublimation crafter. We have laser printers, cookie designers. You should check out Ian. She's a really good cookie designer. So we have some really cool crafters in that group. Come check us out. We'd love to have you. And you can see here, this print is more of a vintage, and it looks awesome. Thank you, and have a great day. Bye-bye.